Alright, EA Ermor, turn 11. We received a messenger from Pelagia, so make of that what you will. There was a prophet declaration from Kaelasa, and then we YOLO'd in on a mystic with our assassin. This is just an unkitted human assassin. They do not do great against mages, but it's pretty early in the game, so there's not a lot of research, and this guy is just a dude in robes, so we have a chance. Yeah, Twist Fate. Come on, buddy. Yep. So we would have a chance if I had not messed up this guy's scripting. So I think this was an assassin I was using to try to capture provinces, so he's just set to hold and then to retreat. Sometimes also you script an assassin to retreat if you're trying to sneak them into a province where they might get patrolled out, and then assuming you control some of the surrounding provinces, the assassin will just retreat to those surrounding provinces, usually, hopefully. But in whatever the situation, you do need to remember to switch their script, because if you retreat in an assassination battle, you just die. So we just threw that assassin away, and I think he had a decent chance of killing this mage. On the other hand, flying shards and fireflies, not super dangerous spells, but against one target, as lightly armored as our assassin is, that could have gone either way. But we lose that assassin. It's not ideal, so we're cleaning out some independents here. These are our unblessed Equite of the Sacred Shroud, but they're not up against too much. There is some heavy cavalry in there, but they have no problem with that. Even unblessed, Equite of the Sacred Shroud are pretty good. This is why it's definitely worth giving them a bless, and we have no trouble there. I don't think we take, no losses, which is ideal, and then we are cleaning out. Don't think there was much. This is our main force, so just in case we run into some Wind Riders, but I think this was just a Wind Rider that was abandoned. He's just gonna go straight in, and looks like I think he might have actually landed kind of on our Equite there. Maybe need to move him forward just a little bit, but anyway, this gonna be no problem for the amount of force that we brought, so we take that. And then we caught a battle between Xibalba and Hinnom, which is a little interesting because this is someone's pretender, probably Xibalba's, considering it's crazy bat lady. But kind of a cool chassis, just flying boots. Not maybe just found them. I'm not sure why they have only flying boots. They do have a limp, so that's a little sad. It's one of the things with Titan chassis is they do tend to stack up the afflictions, but very powerful mage, decent chassis, a lot of hit points, auto summons in some snakes, which is cool, and they're just up against province defense, but still, and monkey province defense, which is not too tough. It's flew to the back, eliminated the commander immediately, I think. Did end up taking some damage, which is sad because you want to try to limit that for the afflictions. Decent protection, but not amazing. It's still really early, so obviously this will get more kit as the game goes on. But kind of cool to see a pretender in action. And then let's see, we had a dominion change, so it's just kind of sad early on. It happens, misfortune. And then we cured some afflictions. So let's see what we're up to. Not too much. It's still fairly early. We're splitting out a small raiding force here, just a regular commander. These are the Equite, the regular ones we accidentally recruited. Not really expecting much resistance here. It is possible we bounce off a PD dump or something like that, but whatever, it's fine. And then continuing with our unblessed Sacred Shroud group, also not really ideal, but it should be fine. Again, this will hurt a little more if they bounce off a PD dump, but honestly, if Arco is PD dumping these random provinces, that's just going to be good for the war overall. We can see Abyssia took this province. I can't remember the exact deal that we made. I'm pretty sure that we had talked about he's gonna get the capital, but I'll grab this. But I mean, at this point, Arco is going to be raiding around, and provinces are going to be changing hands, so it's not a big deal. He's just trying to cut down on Arcocephali's resources. Looks like the Wind Riders went out and counter raided here, which is good. We are doing a decent amount of patrolling on our capital. We have a few sacreds here with a priest to bless them, a few guys guarding, and we have these mercenaries just patrolling, which I don't know, using the mercenaries this way, I really don't want to have my capital get locked down. That would be pretty bad, like in a 1v1 situation, it might be game. Since he also has to deal with Abyssia, like having our capital locked down probably wouldn't be the end of the world, because it's unlikely that he'd be able to leave something on it. And we do have our other fort, right? So we're building a lab here, and we're almost done upgrading it to a fortress. So like we do have other recruitment options. But yeah, I just I don't want to have the sacred recruitment interrupted, although it is a bit constrained right now because we are building some infrastructure. So anyway, yeah, we have the mercenaries patrolling. I think this is enough stuff that like we would at least inflict significant losses to whatever Wind Riders did jump on. So probably worth it, but yeah, maybe a waste of time. We're moving the main army back here. Same stuff. We would like a fort here. Like this is a good location, and then probably eventually going to grab this and maybe this, and well, yeah, probably not this, right? So this is Agartha, and we're actually already in their cap circle, which we kind of already knew, but at this point I hit him up and was like, oh hey, like I see this is your cap circle, like it's fine, you can have it. We are still thinking about I was like, yeah, Agartha's not looking that big. We have our scout down here, seeing some more like early age Ulm. And like, yeah, Agartha didn't like extend that far out into the cave system. Like they don't extend that far out this way. Like we still don't know, kind of to the like southwest here. But at least to the south, like they don't extend very far. So like Agartha is still looking like pretty juicy, but Arcocephali, like, yeah, I'm not really looking to get into a 2v1. And certainly if I insisted on holding this, that would be a declaration of war. It's also not like a particularly valuable province. Could be some magic sites here, but anyway, yeah, so that's sort of the diplomatic situation. Like, yeah, otherwise, like, yeah, we kind of have our one scout. We see a Marverni up here, and I think that's it in terms of our scouting in the wider world. Yeah. So yeah, I think that more or less covers turn 11. All right, EA Ermor, turn 14, which is obviously not contiguous with the last section that I just recorded. So this is a time where I was out of town. This actually overlaps with it's the same absence that are in my other recordings, and kind of ran the gamut in terms of like what you can do, if you're going to be away. I think in my 3E game, I just staled, which was fine. In the 5E game, I had a like non-community sub, which had its problems in terms of communicating in Discord. And then happily for this game, I was able to find somebody in the community to sub, and like, yeah, they did a great job. The player that subbed was actually the Macone player in my 3E playthrough that I recorded, and like, yeah, a big tip of the hat to that player that subbed. We didn't really know each other that well. I think subbing is a great thing you can do in general for the community. Like, people are always looking for subs, and it's actually something that I plan on like recording probably a few substitutions that I do, because it's an interesting way to play. Like you get to experience builds and oftentimes like nations and play styles that you just wouldn't. And it can really open your eyes, and like sometimes, you find something that you maybe never would have tried yourself. And you're like, wow, like I really like how, this person has this set up, or like I've never seen that before. So it can be like a really interesting and like fun way to play. And like it is a huge service to the community, because yeah, I mean, things happen. People drop out of games all the time. It's totally understandable, for how long, these games run for in terms of real time. So yeah, I mean, the need for subs is kind of constant, and doing a temporary substitution like this for just a few turns is like an even bigger ask, because it's just, these are complicated things, right? So you get dropped in the middle, and you gotta like figure out this stuff, do a few turns, and then you just get it like yanked away from you, right as you're kind of like getting into it. So anyway, yeah, a huge thank you to that player, just absolute class. And they did a great job too, as we'll see. So, hey, maybe I should get more subs, like longer. It's like, hey, why don't you just sub for like a good like 20-30 turns, then let me take over and wreck it. So anyway, let's see. So we have Throne Claim from Satis, Throne of Fortune, nice. And then we found a magic site, yeah. So that's, thank you, sub. all these actions, of course, are the subs actions. So, oops. So yeah, I think this is just one Astral Pearl, and then yeah, we missed a site search as happens, and then yeah, we had a couple battles. Yeah, like so, a lot of fights in Amber Fields here. We'll talk about exactly what went down there. So yeah, it looks like this is just our group of. Oh, it's a combined. It was a combined group. Nice. And I think this is Prophet, maybe. Oh no, there's a priest in here. Very nice. Yeah, probably the priest we were using to patrol in the capital. And these are all Equite of the Sacred Shroud. Okay. No, yeah, some of these are the Equite. So probably combining like our 2 raiding groups that we had before. And yeah, not a whole lot of province defense here. So you're going to have no problem with that. So yeah, we take that, no problem. That's good. And then yeah, let's see. I think this was communicated, if I recall, from my subs. So yeah, this is still the main army. Yeah, just going up against 6 PD. And like, yeah, we were working with Abyssia, and so this was, totally kosher. This is not us fighting Abyssia. However, this I think was like somewhat planned and set up for. I don't know all the exact details, but yeah, I don't think like Agartha was expecting this, and I think we were like, yeah, this was somewhat expected on our end, and like we have a lot here, right? We're bringing a lot more to the table than what Agartha's bringing out. Although I mean, this is a lot of Mind Blasters, absolutely. And the holding, right, is really, you don't want to hold against Mind Blasters, but this is the script that I had set up for it, and it is designed to defend against the Wind Riders, right, who you do need to hold, because you don't want to leave all your commanders open to getting jumped on by flyers. So totally makes sense leaving that script in place, because obviously Arcocephali is the main person we're worried about. And pale ones are truly awful, so it's like as long as you have the numbers, like you can see like, okay, yeah, like our guys are getting paralyzed, we don't have very good magic resistance, right? So these Mind Blasters are really effective at getting a lot of paralyzes off, but as long as you outnumber them by a decent margin, right? They have limited ammo, and the Mind Blast itself doesn't really deal that much damage. Now unfortunately, most if not all of them get away. I think we get a few here. That is an advantage of having cavalry. So he doesn't, that's not a major loss for Agartha, but it does hurt. And like, yeah, we do lose one Equite, probably got stunned on the front line and then killed, but we only get 5 Great Olms, which yeah, and the Cavern Guard, like I don't actually, these are like decently expensive. Ouch. Yeah, I mean, they have good protection, like decent hit points, but it's just like such miserable skills, and cold-blooded. Like, yeah, it's a tough life being early age Agartha. But they definitely have plenty of advantages as a nation. But yeah, that works out well for us. Thank you again, sub. We had an unexpected event. Yeah, so we're losing more Dominion, and it's fine. And then, yeah, let's see what we're up to. It's a somewhat quiet turn for us, mostly focused on site searching. So like all these stealthy guys are these Hoberg to site search for nature for us, and then yeah, continuing to site search with our Death Mage. We didn't actually find any like death site here yet, so it's got to be some other path that's causing these scales. So we'll definitely have to try to figure out what to search there. We are bringing back our main army. Like I said, I think we do want a fort here, so this is probably like a decent place to camp out, and we can also cover like a lot of provinces from here. A lot of why we're moving site searchers out is it looks like Arcocephali is probably done at this point, right? So Abyssia has locked down their capital, right? And it's a decent amount of burning ones, and they have their siege chaff here and some more burning ones. And so like, yeah, we can see like TNN has moved in and vultured, and yeah, so they have like one province, maybe a couple others, but yeah, so I'd say Arcocephali is pretty much done, and like now it's a good time to start thinking about our war with Agartha, right? Because they're not looking very big. We just won a fairly significant bump against them. Yeah, probably like we have strong sacreds. It's not a bad time, I think, to go after them. And to that end, like yeah, recruiting a bunch of sacreds, finishing off Augur Elder. We do want more of those guys. Let's see, in this fort, yeah, I think we've switched over to Augur recruitment. N1s are like, they're okay, right, in terms of, mages. There are definitely things they can do, but they're not super powerful, so we don't actually want like a ton of these guys, like just enough to do our site searching, and then, kind of limited nature stuff that we're going to need from them. But yeah, we would like to stack up some more augurs just because they're really good mages, good researchers, solid in combat, and, stacking some more fortune teller on our fort is important because, yeah, we got misfortune 3 here, only misfortune 2 in our capital. So, but anyway, plenty of misfortune. We do want those fortune tellers to try to help prevent those bad events. And then probably the only other thing of note is we are vulturing a little bit of Mictlan, and this is at their request. So they lost this is their capital over here. They lost a pivotal battle to Niflheim. They were getting invaded by Niflheim apparently, and they lost a major battle, and they're just like, yeah, we're we're on our way out. You should grab some stuff, before like Niflheim grabs it. So we're gonna try to grab this, and I think also this. Yeah, we'll probably just carry on because these caves actually connect. And then research-wise, yeah, we have Conjuration 3 queued for like lesser elementals, and summoning the powers is nice. Yeah, the lesser elementals now probably less vital. Like, I don't know how useful they're going to be against Agartha, but this was really more like worries against Arcocephali. And yeah, we don't actually have any other research queued yet, so we'll see where that goes. Our research is, still pretty slow. Turn 14, that's not great. We have a lot of people out site searching, and we are still kind of on the low end of infrastructure. We only have like the one other fort with a lab, producing mages. But, again, early war, like tight map, a little more acceptable. I'm still okay with like this level of research, this level of infrastructure, and would like more research, but I also like to get insight searching early. So anyway, slow research for now, but hopefully we'll be improving. And I think that more or less covers turn 14. All right, EA Ermor, turn 15. We received a Dwarven Hammer from Agartha. If I recall, this was actually in payment for the Cap Circle province that we had taken. It was something that my sub worked out, and said before, my sub did a great job. This, just continues to demonstrate this. This deal actually made me feel a little dirty. Not that absolutely a fantastic deal. I don't really think you should probably, I hesitate to say ever, it depends. But generally speaking, I wouldn't pay a dime for your own cap circle. Right? If you can't control that, then it's like you're on the way out. And something like this sort of sends a message, I don't know, either that you're a very generous person or you're in big trouble. So anyway, we got a Dwarven Hammer, which is nice. We can't make those. We do not have a lot of Earth access. And speaking of Earth access, our god finally awoken. So it's a bit late, not crazy late. I'm not sure what the variance can be. It's turn 15 right now. The earliest you can awaken when you're dormant is turn 12. But just keep that in mind. You don't always get a dormant pretender right on turn 12. And then, we just took control against minimal PD here from Mictlan, and we actually grabbed another Mictlan province that had no PD. I think they let us know that, it was absolutely no PD, so we could just take it, I think, with a scout is what we used. And we can see that, Mictlan was vanquished this turn, so we just barely got in there. And then, we had unexpected event, got a few gems, that's nice, and let's see, of course, the Throne of Fortune is spreading luck, which is actually really nice for us because we took a lot of misfortune. So thank you, Throne of Luck. And let's see what we're up to. Again, a bit of a quieter turn. We can see that, the siege of Arcocephali is ongoing. It's not cracked yet, so it'll probably take a while. I think they have a castle, slightly better starting fort, especially for early age. So decent amount of wall integrity. There's not a ton on here, so this is going to take a second. We are building a palisade here, that's good. Trying to preach up our dominion a little bit. Just take solid control of this. This will be, our launching point if we go to war against Agartha, which is, our desired next target. However, we are in talks, I think, at this point with Niflheim. Niflheim was not thrilled, that we jumped in and grabbed, vultured a couple of Mictlan provinces, since, obviously we did 0 of the lifting against Mictlan. So, this is a bit of a hostile move, grabbing these provinces. On the other hand, I am not thrilled to have Niflheim as a neighbor. They're a dangerous nation. We're trying to go heat, and their whole thing is their dominion pushes a lot of cold. So, I would prefer to keep that as, at an arm's length. I also know that this is the same player that played Helheim in my 3E playthrough. So if you've seen that, you know that this player is good, at least for the skill level that I'm at. So yeah, was pretty worried about this player. I know they're good. They just finished eating somebody. I think their capital. Yeah, we don't know where it is yet. It's somewhere down. They're not too far away. So to that end, we are kind of moving in, this is, the other half, we have the other army we were using against Arcocephali, and that's just going to cover this fort construction. But just in case negotiations don't work out, we're moving up the rest of this stuff, to cover this fort, and maybe go to war. Obviously, Mictlan is right here. We would love a second capital. So, if we do go to war, this will definitely be our target. But yeah, would prefer to not fight, a good player, and, a nation that's in a much stronger position, would prefer to take on a weaker power. So we'll see what develops from that. Otherwise, pretty much just site searching. Recruitment is looking very sad. Yeah, just a augur here, no sacreds. Did we manage to get a mage here? Nope, just a single scout. Ouch. So yeah, building the palisade. We don't have a ton of money. Our income situation is not awful. We have some decent provinces. This is helping a lot, definitely. Although yeah, a good amount of unrest. Would like to reduce that. But yeah, this early age, there's not a ton of money. So yeah, we definitely need more territory for sure. But yeah, I think that covers turn 15. All right, EA Ermor, turn 16. We can see our site searching is going great. That's how it goes sometimes. I forgot to mention last turn, but we are pinging the throne, right? So this is our commander. He's going to retreat. And yeah, this is looking pretty weak. Coney can be a little scary, but especially when it's not in a cave, that's not so bad. He's just regular old heavy infantry. That's fine. In terms of mages, yeah, this is a little scary, probably some Shadow Blast or something like that. Yeah, I don't know, don't love to see a bunch of death gems, but it's only a death 2, this guy's only a death 1, and yeah, this guy's astral 2. None of this looks too scary. They're probably just gonna make skeletons, do some blood slaves, could make some imps. This demon priest actually randomed into some death. I think it's only a 10% for them, so that's kind of rare, and he's got some gems. But there's just not a lot of numbers here, so I think we can overwhelm this pretty quickly. And then yeah, some bad omens. We got some death scales, unrest. That's great. And Etten is attacking us, but Etten suck. So there you go. 6 PD. It is worth it sometimes. And we patrolled out a TNN scout. This is where we're building that fort. So yep, love to kill scouts. Cured some afflictions, and Lanka was eliminated. So yeah, let's see what we're up to here. Again, just pushing around, site searchers, all that kind of stuff. The siege of Arcocephali continues. Abyssia bringing in, well, maybe it's just the scout report fluctuating, but hopefully bringing in more siege strength. Still not cracked, but once you're down to the last fort, you don't really need to rush in, especially this early on. Normally, when you sit on a fort for a long time, especially in the late game, that's just a really bad idea because, Gateway is out there. There's ways to magic troops into a fort that's under siege, and, if they have stealth, people can sneak in. And anyway, you don't want, long sieges, but early on in the game, it's not nearly as bad. And when it's the enemy's last fort, it's also not too bad to just sit on a fort for a while. So not the end of the world that they're not getting a quick crack, but yeah, you never want to be sitting on a fort a long time. We have found Helheim down here, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, we have a decent amount of elves. Yeah, nobody loves fighting the elves, so hopefully the elves won't be our problem this game. But if we do thrust ourselves down here into Agartha, well, we got elves to the left, elves to the right, so yeah, that's a bit of a downside, but probably still going to go for it, especially since we did manage to work out a deal, with this player. So we have non-aggression pact 3, which I was happy about. I didn't really relish the idea, especially 2. relish the idea of fighting like Niflheim and this player, but particularly cold resistance. We don't have that on the Bless. So that's a bit of a problem when you're going up against Niflheim. So managed to get an app 3 and, demilitarizing now. So probably still going to be going after Agartha, but before we do that, we are combining everything together, and then we're going to go after this throne, because, like I said, I don't think it's very strong, and I think we'll just be able to roll right over that. Recruitment-wise, always with the Equite, only getting an Augur this turn. We are just, kind of low on Augurs, and the Augur Elders are really expensive. Getting another Nature Mage, guess it felt like I needed a little more site searching. They are useful to have around, and they might be a bit cheap. Well, actually, I don't know. Yeah, wow, they are cheaper than Augurs. Not many mages can say that, but there you go. And these guys only 55 gold. It might be a money thing. Building more troops, we're going to need numbers. We're going to need an army, definitely, if we're going to go after somebody. Just building that up. Research has not changed too much. Just threw on Thaumaturgy 1. This is just mostly so that I can communion my mages together. Can't tell you the number of times in single player and stuff where, I'm playing a communion nation and I've been focusing on other research targets, and then I get surprised and I have a pivotal battle and I realize, wait a minute, I don't actually have any thaumaturgy research and I cannot communion anyone together. So I feel like getting Thaumaturgy 1 early as a communion nation is kind of just a safe, useful move, so that you don't run into that situation where you're just like, okay, and I'll just communion, and then it's like, oh shoot. Still not really sure where we're going research-wise after that, we will see. And I think that more or less covers it. I think, yes, we do have one scout that's active out here. He's just kind of cruising around. We can see Xibalba is actually decently big, not something that always happens, and a little bit of Marverni here. This really wide scouting is something I go back and forth on. I think this is probably a little too far out there, and this is a bit of a waste of our time, but I do think it is really important to find out who your neighbors' neighbors are. Because those people are often going to be your friends, and your neighbors are usually the ones that you want to try to eat. Neighbors. So I think having 1 or 2 scouts doing sort of a wider circuit of the world, to figure out neighbors is a good idea, but you don't want too much scouting like that. I think I might do a little too much scouting like this. I mean, we only have the one guy that's far afield. Most of our scouting has moved in on our target, right? You want your scouting to be more active, closer to home, I think, which is something I'm still trying to improve at. Next turn we will get eyes on Agartha's capital and kind of see what's going on there. I think that covers turn 16.